A report out today says tens of thousands of Merseyside families have fallen into debt because of changes to housing benefit. The National Housing Federation says the so-called bedroom tax means people face losing money or trying to move to a smaller property. Andy Gill reports from St Helens.
So why do you need the wet room, Julie?
Well, I need the wet room, basically.
At home in St Helens, Julie Atherton's had her spare room converted to a wet room. Health problems mean she can't use a bath. At present, she gets discretionary payments to cover the benefits she's lost from having a spare room. But those payments could stop after a year, and Julie says that could mean hard choices.
Basically, a lot of bills wouldn't be paid how they should be paid, or food itself, we wouldn't be able to get the amount of food we do now.
The National Housing Federation says benefit cuts since April have left 14,000 Merseyside homes in rent arrears, 6,000 of them for the first time. The Department for Work and Pensions says there's no conclusive evidence that people affected by our housing benefit reforms are not getting the help they need. This reform will save hard-working taxpayers almost £1 billion over the next 2 years and will help restore fairness to our housing benefit system. Tenants like Julie, though, still fear for the future. Andy Gill, BBC North West today, St Helens.
Well, with me now in the studio is Noelle Sharp, the Executive Director for Halton Housing Trust. Thank you very much for coming in. The government says there is no evidence that people are not getting the help they need if they do find that they're getting into debt.
I think in practice, actually, it's not the case. For the housing associations that have participated in this study, we're already having to increase resources to provide the advice for those customers affected. We know that, as the report just said, 14,000 of our customers are already falling into debt, 6 of those for the first time. And I think what we're really concerned about is the fact that for many of these customers, if they can't afford to pay, they'll have to go into the private rented sector. The levels of rent in the rented sector are a lot higher, and therefore actually the benefits bill could very well increase, certainly not go down as the government expects it to.
But something has to be done. There is a huge housing benefit bill, and is it fair that people with empty rooms should really subsidise those that don't?
Of those 26,500 affected households that we know are in existence in Merseyside at the moment, we know that over 19,000 of those are actually households where there's a disabled member of the family. Now, a huge amount of money has been spent on adaptations to bring that property into a condition that enables them to remain at home. And actually, they might need that extra bedroom for carers, for medical equipment.
Well, the government says there is extra money for people with disabilities as well that they can go to their local authority for.
Unfortunately, that money just isn't in great supply. It's not necessarily entirely new money, so there are already demands on that money. And we know that from some of our customers' perspective and tenants' perspectives, it can only amount to a very few pounds a week. And it's very short term. For some customers, they'll only get that for a couple of weeks at a time. So it's not a long-standing resolution to the problem for them.
OK, Noelle Sharp, thank you very much. Detective